Hello, and welcome to Polyglot Principles. My name is Modja, and I'm a hyper-polyglot who speaks 8 languages. I speak 4 of those at an advanced level, and this is the channel where I help ambitious language learners go from intermediate to advanced in their target language by giving them a very deep and detailed understanding of the principles of language learning. So these are the 3 criteria if you're trying to determine whether you belong in the Polyglot Principles community or not. Here are the 3 criteria that members of the Polyglot Principles community satisfy. 1, they're extremely ambitious people. This means they're people who want to get to a high level in the language. They want to master the language. They're not just interested in being a tourist or having a bit of a shallow understanding. They want to go really deep. That's the first quality, ambitious language learners. The other quality that members of this Polyglot Principles community have in common is that they're currently at an intermediate level and advanced level, and they want to get better. I specialize in helping advanced language learners become even more advanced. That's one way to think about it. So if you're at an intermediate level, higher than that, and you want to become more advanced, then you satisfy the second property, right? The second quality characteristic of members of this community. And the third one is that members of this community are people who want to have a deep understanding of how to learn a language. They're not interested in shallow information. They want to go really deep and understand how things work. So those are the 3 qualities. If you satisfy these 3 qualities, you're ambitious, you want to go really deep into stuff, you're currently at an intermediate to advanced level and you want to get better. If you satisfy these 3 qualities, this is the channel for you. Please do hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, ding, 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 ding. That way you'll be notified whenever I publish a new video. I publish videos for every Tuesday to Sunday. I publish short videos called One for the Road videos. And where I give you like one idea that you can take with you on the road. And then on Monday I publish an in-depth video where we go really deep into some aspect of language learning. So for example, today is a Monday, so this video is an in-depth video. And today what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about how language learning transformed my life. Typically, I give you very factual videos, but today I decided to, I'm still going to teach you a lot of true things about language learning and life, but this time I'm going to tell you a bit more about my own story. How has language learning transformed my own life? This might help to inspire you to keep going, or help you to maybe take language learning more seriously. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to share my story today, but before we start, as usual, I have a question for you. And the question is, how has language learning changed your life? Please pause this video, go to the comment section below and write down the ways in which your life has changed ever since you started seriously learning languages. Alright, so now that you've done that, let us continue with this video. So yes, my life before and after language learning is tremendously different. Once I began to become serious about language learning, my life hasn't really been the same. So I'm going to share 5 transformations that have happened to me as a result of learning languages. Right now I mentioned that I speak 8 languages, 4 at an advanced level. I speak Spanish, French, German, English at an advanced level. And so obviously I don't just teach these languages, but I also take the time to teach them. I don't just learn the languages, but I also take the time to teach them on polyglot principles. So that experience has been totally transformational. So let's look at transformation number 1. The first transformation that I've gotten from learning these languages is increased self-confidence. I'm going to take you into a more emotional part of my life. So I went to school and I did my university education. I have a bachelor's degree in math. I'm just, actually this year, actually in a few weeks I'm starting my studies in Germany. I'm starting first online and then later I'm going to head off to Germany to do my PhD, my master's degree in mathematics. But so I used to, during my undergraduate studies, I did my bachelor's degree in America, in California. And when I was there was a time when I was really low emotionally. My grades weren't good. I wasn't feeling good about myself. I felt like I was a loser. I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything. I was really low emotionally. I was a guy with big dreams, you see, and I've always been a guy with big dreams. I want to do amazing stuff with my life. I always wanted to. But it's very frustrating when you have big dreams and you wind up doing things that are very small and meaningless, and failing really big. So you want to do something big, but you fail super big. And that's painful. And maybe having the feeling that I have these big dreams, but somehow God made a mistake with me, isn't it? He gave me big dreams, but no way to achieve them. Such kinds of things were running through my mind at the time when I was in college. And I really needed to win. I needed to feel like a winner. I needed to feel that I can do something. I am a disciplined person, etc. This is what I wanted. And so, in order to raise my spirits, I decided, hey, let me take on a challenge. I'm going to learn and become fluent in Spanish in 3 months. This is the challenge I set up for myself. So at the beginning of the 3 months, I didn't even know hola. What does hola mean? I had no idea. So I went from that, and true enough, I had the wisdom to watch a few videos about how to learn languages before starting, and I applied some of the principles. One of the big principles that helped me at the time was to speak as much as possible. I was in California, so that was great. California is filled with Spanish speakers, people from Mexico, people from Latin America. So I decided to practice as much as possible with them. And I don't know, for some reason I really poured myself into this project of learning Spanish and becoming fluent in 3 months. And I remember at the start, for example, I put on I put on a YouTube video, a news channel. Some lady, I've forgotten her name, I've really forgotten her name, but she made a video, and in that video she was talking about she was sharing the news in the video, and the news was being given in Spanish, and I couldn't understand a goddamn thing she was saying. At the beginning I couldn't understand anything, but something amazing happened. Within a month and a half, 2 months, I was able to play the same. Oh, just a moment, there's a aeroplane flying by. Alright, plane is gone, but the ground is still vibrating. God bless technology. So, yes, 3 months before, I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand anything this lady was saying. She was speaking Spanish. And then a month and a half, 2 months in, I was understanding everything she was saying. And I was doing getting some of the things right, so that my improvement was really quick. And my professors were giving me praise. Wow, you're amazing. This is unbelievable. They were literally looking at me as if I'm Rain Man. My professor told me I'm the best student she'd ever had, in terms of she'd never seen anyone pick up Spanish so fast. And this began transformation in me, because I thought to myself, 3 months ago I couldn't speak a goddamn thing. And now, 3 months later, I'm able to speak a language, give a 40-minute presentation in the language, teach a class on physics in the language. I first of all began to realize my own potential. I realized that I'd never truly tapped into my own potential. Just within 3 months, look at what I was capable of doing. And maybe if I'm more efficient, I can get much more done. And what would happen if I focused for a year, 2 years, 10 years? See, so things began to come up on the surface. Confidence began to come up. And actually, another thing I should have said is, I didn't mention it, but it just come to me now, is I also learned the value of time. Typically, we waste time because we don't know what you can do with it. See, it's like money. When I was a kid, I used to think, I didn't really think much about money. I thought, I don't really need money. Money is not that important. But as I grew up, I began to think about what money can do. Money can buy you a big house. Money can take you on trips. Money can buy you experiences. Money can give you, help you travel around the world, etc. Once I realized the power of money, now I began to value it more, you see. And this is the same with time. Before, I didn't really value my time. But then, when I noticed what I could do in 3 months, just 3 months of focused effort, that within 3 months I can learn a language, I began to value time. See, nowadays, I can't be comfortable with wasting 3 months, because I know in those 3 months I could have learned a language. Within 6 months I could have learned 2 languages. Within a year I can learn 4 languages or more, you see. So this was one of the great transformations, valuing of time and an increase in self-confidence. Okay, so that's the first transformation. Oh, by the way, if you want to watch me speak in Spanish, I have a video. I have a video which I'll put in the description where I share my. It's called Modja Finally Speaks Spanish. So I share my. I talk to you about my story, but in Spanish and about the channel. So if you want to check that out, just go to the description of this video. Let me write it so I don't forget. Modja Finally Speaks Spanish. So I will add that in the description of this video. Okay. The first transformation we said is that I became more confident and I learned to value. I learned the value of time. The second thing I learned is I learned how to learn. You see, this is the second thing I've learned from language learning is how to learn. On this channel, I teach you the principles of language learning. How can you become more fluent? How do you improve? And I try to distill things into clear principles that you can follow. This process of distilling things into the principles and studying how to get better at languages yielded some strange results. I realized that what I am studying is not just how to get better at languages, but how to get better at anything. What I'm really teaching you is how to learn. But I'm putting it in the context of language learning, but the principles are pretty much the same. Like, for example, just my own investigations into language learning led me to realize that there's one fundamental principle of language learning, and it's this. You improve in a language if and only if you correct your mistakes. If you correct your mistakes, you improve. If you don't correct your mistakes, you don't improve. In fact, here's the definition of improvement, my definition of improvement. Improvement means making less mistakes over time. If I make less mistakes today than I made yesterday, I have improved, you see. I realized something very interesting. This is not really a language learning principle. I mean, it helps you in language learning, but it's really a learning principle. The reality is that it doesn't matter what you're trying to learn. Languages, chess, mathematics, a physical activity, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever the heck you're trying to learn, this principle holds. You improve to the degree to which you reduce your mistakes. So I realized, when I came up with this principle, when I thought about it, I thought it was just a language learning principle. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, holy crap, I can apply this to anything, you see. And that has actually changed. This has actually changed the way I learn other things. Because currently I'm learning chess. Something I was always interested in, now I've taken it up again. I'm learning chess. And I apply the very same principle, error correction, and many other principles that I learned. Another principle I talk about a lot in the channel when it comes to language learning is don't walk before crawling. Which means, or don't run before walking. Which means start with simple stuff and then increase the complexity. I am also applying this principle. This principle is not just a language learning principle. I thought about it in the context of language learning, but I realized it applies to everything. And now I'm using it to learn everything else. So, strange thing. Actually, these are learning about, so here's the important thing. Trying to get better at a language and thinking about how to get better led me to become better at learning itself. I'm just a much better learner. And my chess coach now says, wow, you're a very quick learner. You pick up stuff very quickly. And that's not because of any genetic reasons. I used to play chess for years before. I never really, at some point I just plateaued. I wasn't getting better. And now I took it up and I'm getting much, much better. It's not that, it's not genetic, obviously. If it was genetic, I should have been improving a lot even before. The only difference is that my mind has changed. I now have learned the principles of language learning and really which are the principles of learning. And I'm able to apply them consciously and therefore I'm able to apply them and therefore I'm getting the necessary results. So that's the second thing that has changed. Second big transformation for me as a result of learning languages and teaching them to you is that I've learned how to learn. And the first transformation I said was that my self-confidence increased. Okay, transformation number 3. One of the things, Actually, before we go to transformation number 3, I'd like to let you know that everything I'm talking about right now, I'm sharing my story, but if you're listening to me carefully, you're realizing that I'm also teaching you about language learning and about learning in general. So if you want to really go deep and understand everything I'm saying here, I've made a video, I've written notes on everything I'm saying now. Just go to the description of this video and click on a link to my notes, and if you read it and you listen to this, you'll be able to gather the lessons that I've learned after a lot of hard work and after a lot of time of practice. And you'll be able to learn them within like maybe 30 minutes, an hour, I don't know how long it will take you. And if you apply them, you'll be able to learn that much faster. Okay, let's go to principle number 3. Transformation number 3. I learned to transfer the principle-based approach to everything I do. Now, this channel is unique. Polyglot Principles is unique. You're not going to find a channel like this one anywhere online. This is because we focus on the principles of language learning. Here's the basic idea. Everything in life operates according to principles. This is the founding belief of this channel. Everything in life operates in accordance with principles. There are principles for driving a car. There are principles for baking a cake. There are principles for running a marathon. There are principles for going to the moon. We haven't yet gone to the sun, but there are principles of walking on the sun. We just haven't figured them out yet. But in particular, there are principles for learning a language. And if you obey the principles of language learning, you will learn. If you disobey the principles, you will never learn. You'll never get better. This is how it works. This is the principle-based approach to language learning. Informing this channel and thinking about the principles that I was applying to get better at languages, I realized that, oh, interesting. This principle-based approach applies to anything I'm trying to learn. It doesn't matter what it is I'm trying to learn. Right now, like I mentioned before, right now I'm learning chess, and I'm about to start my studies to resume my studies in mathematics, my master's degree in math. And guess what I'm doing? One of the first questions I'm asking myself is, hey, what are the principles of getting better at math? What are the principles of getting better at math? What are the principles of getting better at chess? What are the principles by which a YouTube channel can grow? These are the questions I ask myself. And I apply those, I learn those principles and apply them. So this is again another transformation that's happened to me, is that I have gotten the principle-based approach to learning languages, which is what I teach you, and I realize I can apply it to anything. So this is also something I recommend for you. This principle-based approach is not just a language learning thing. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, ask yourself, hey, you want to become rich? Ask yourself, what are the principles of riches? Find out the principles of getting rich. If you obey those principles, you'll become rich. Just like, hey, you want to get good at a language? What are the principles of getting better? Obey those principles and you get better. There was a time when I used to struggle with language learning. There was a time when I didn't know how to improve in languages. And I thought maybe I'm not so good at them after all. And now I'm really good. People compliment me all the time on how great I am at languages, how I'm able to learn so many languages. And the truth is, I'm not like... my only genius with regard to language learning lies in the fact that I have taken the time to learn the principles and, most importantly, to obey the principles. This principle-based approach is something very powerful. Another transformation that's happened to me, just seeing the power of it. So I've mentioned 3 transformations so far. Transformation number 1 is my self-confidence increased. Transformation number 2, I learned how to learn. Transformation number 3, I transferred the principle-based approach to everything I do. And the 4th transformation, I have 5 for you today. The 4th transformation is, it gave me a deeper understanding of mastery. Okay. What do I mean? So, in this channel, I'm not really interested in helping, my videos will help beginners. But my focus is not on helping beginners. My focus is on helping intermediate and advanced language learners become even more advanced. So I'm talking about the final stages of learning. So these like the niceties of a language. See, when you're at the intermediate level, you've learned a lot of the big stuff. You know the tenses, you know the pronunciation, all that stuff you know. Now what's left is small details, synonyms, small language structures, refinement of the language. Just you're trying to get a total grasp of the language. So this is where I live. I love mastery. I like the final stages of improvement, where you have to put in lots of effort and take pride in small improvements, etc. So one of the things I realized, just because right now I'm at an advanced level in German also, and I'm trying to get better. I want my German to get as good as my English. And one thing I realized is, so I've been trying to teach you how to master, how the final stages, how to master a language. And one thing I realized is that mastery of a language, the principles of how to master a language, or mastery of a language is similar to mastery of anything else. In fact, mastery is really the same. What do I mean? If you listen to a great language learner speak, and you listen to a great pianist speak, and you listen to a master of chess, and you listen to a master football player, if you listen to them speak, you'll realize they're talking about the same stuff. The same stuff. How to master the nitty-gritties, the psychology of winning, the proper way to think, etc. And so, this is another thing that's happened is, for example, I'll give you a practical example. At the start of learning, let's say German or the other languages I learned, I noticed that by putting in just a bit of effort at the beginning, correct effort, I noticed big results. So I really loved practicing really hard for 2 weeks and then noticing, wow, I've really improved. And the natives are telling me, wow, you're so good at this, you've gotten much better. That was a great feeling. But this was the beginning stages. When I reached the higher levels, I realized that, hey, there's this thing called the plateau. I'm spending a lot of time in the plateau. And I'm putting in a lot of effort. There's improvement, but not dramatic improvement like it used to be. So one of the things I had to learn with regard to language learning is, hey, take pleasure in small improvements. When I learn a new word, I'm proud of myself for learning a new word. If someone makes a slight correction on my sentence, I'm glad about that. When someone tells me like some, a good example I could give you is in German. There's two words. I think I used this example before, but it works. There's ändern and verändern. Ändern in German means when you replace something with something else. You change something in the sense that you replace it totally. For example, if I change, if my chair is broken and I replace it with a totally new chair, then I say that's the concept of ändern, to totally change something. And then there's verändern, which means you get the same thing and you just refine it. Basically, you're not replacing something, but you're getting the same thing and changing it. So you see, those are like, even explaining it in English is hard, but there is such a difference in German. And those are the kind of things that, when you're at an advanced level, those are the kind of corrections you get. Someone says, oh, no. I remember once I said verändern. The guy said, no. I wrote ändern. The guy said, no, it's verändern, you see. And so this is just small details, small details. But I learned to take pride in the small details because I know actually, over time, understanding these small things, the small things eventually add up to huge improvement. So this is the mindset I had to develop in order to teach you about mastering of a language, and also in order to become better at the languages, become more advanced at the languages I already speak. However, I learned that this mindset is useful for any task, any skill that you're trying to learn. This is the transformation for me, because I perform other activities and sometimes I do stuff and I don't see results or no huge results. This mindset has transferred to everything I do. I've learned to take the long view on things. Okay, it may look like I'm not improving now. It may look like nothing is happening now. But no, under the background, something is happening. I'm going to keep practicing even if I'm not seeing results. And eventually, of course, the results come. So this is the other transformation that has happened, is I've developed a deeper understanding of how to master things. The final stages of learning anything. Okay. So I've given you 4 transformations that have happened to me. I increased my self-confidence. I learned how to learn. I transferred the principle-based approach to everything I do. It gave me a deep understanding of mastery. The fifth transformation is new worlds and opportunities opened up to me as a result of learning languages. What do I mean by this? For example, right now I have the opportunity to teach you how to learn a language on this channel, Polyglot Principles. The reason I'm able to do that is because I took the time to learn languages. And now because I've competently learned many languages, I am qualified to teach it to you. This is an opportunity that would have never happened to me if I hadn't taken the time to learn languages. Here's another thing. I have a chess coach now. My chess coach is from Cuba. Originally, lives in Ecuador now, but he's from Cuba. And the guy doesn't speak English. But he's a really great coach. And I'm able to work with him now because we're only able to work in Spanish. I'm able to work with him now in Spanish. I'm able to benefit from his knowledge and build a relationship with this guy because I speak Spanish. If I didn't speak Spanish at an advanced level, it would have been very difficult for me. I would not have been able to work with him. This opportunity would not have even been possible for me. As I mentioned before, I'm now going to Germany to study, and my studies are going to be in German. Obviously, if I had not invested the time to learn German, I would not have this opportunity, you see. So, this is again some of the worlds that have opened up to me as a result of learning languages. There's also books that I can now read that I could not have been able to read before. I listen to a success podcast. It's in German. And the podcast is in German. It's not in English. So I am able to learn or listen to a conversation, listen in on a conversation between successful people that I just couldn't listen to at all if I didn't speak German. In fact, for me it's so surreal because so I've been learning German now for 1 year. Last year I played a success podcast in German and I couldn't understand a goddamn thing. And now, just 1 year later, I'm able to listen to the podcast without problems. So I'm able to literally see this world, this podcast was not accessible to me 1 year ago. I've put in the effort to learn the language and guess what? Now it's accessible to me. That has got to be a great miracle. So I've given you 5 transformations that have happened to me as a result of learning languages. The first one is, hey, my self-confidence has gone up. Second is, I've learned how to learn. Third is, I transferred the principle-based approach to learning languages to everything I do. The fourth is that I've now gotten a deeper understanding of the process of mastering languages and mastering anything. The fifth is that new worlds and opportunities have opened up to me that I could not have gotten otherwise. So if this has inspired you to learn languages, to become better, to keep going, I do have some tools that can help you get better at whatever language you're trying to learn. And in particular, there are 5 mistakes which you cannot afford to make. I call them the 5 enemies of fluency. You have to avoid those mistakes. And I made a video where I teach you the 5 enemies of fluency and show you exactly how you can avoid them. So just go to the description of this video and click on a link called the 5 enemies of fluency to have access to these videos. So I publish these videos again every Monday at 8 a.m. Central African time. I publish in-depth videos like this one where I go really deep into some aspect of language learning. And then on Tuesday to Sunday, I publish a one for the road video, much shorter video typically. And in this video, I just give you one idea. It's like a teaser video. I give you one idea about language learning that you can take with you on the road, take with you during the day. Now, my goal is to have 3,000 plus subscribers on this channel by August 1st, 2021. So if you have any ideas, and some people have given me suggestions, I'm very grateful for those suggestions. If you have any idea that can help me get to this 3,000 plus subscribers, please be sure to send me an email. My email is polyglotprinciples@gmail.com. Oh, and by the way, the first thing you can do to support me and help me get to the correct number is, hey, subscribe to this video. Hit the bell notification, ding, 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 so you're notified whenever I publish new videos, and share it with your friends. That would be an amazing thing. And by the way, if you have any questions, any comments. I want to hear from you, and I'll be glad to answer, to respond to your questions. Please feel free to send me an email or in the comment section also. My email is polyglotprinciples@gmail.com. Just check it out in the description of this video. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye.